boat for the Arab countries. I don't want to give them my money.
When you say you went to Arab countries, which ones are you talking about?
Well, the first country when we went to, well, this is after we did Italy and Greece and Malta and Cyprus. Then the first one we stopped at was Jordan, Aqaba, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
That
Good
was
hummus
fine.
or...
But Jordan, we stopped at the port of Aqaba.
You realise Jordan have artificially kept their drachma up. It's very expensive when you convert money.
Yeah. Well, Jordan, but it was great at Jordan, and the guide that we had obviously was a Jordan guide, and
You like Jordan?
yeah, they were all, it was good. That was fine. Then the next country we went to was Oman. Now,
They advertise Oman a lot on airlines as the next sort of Dubai.
Abu Dhabi is the next Dubai. Anyway, Oman, well, Abu Dhabi is Oman. But the first place we stopped at was Muscat. And that's, of all the places, that was the most religious. And we were warned what to wear. Knees have to be covered, ankles covered, arms, everything. It was
There's your mother in a burqa.
Oh, Jesus. Hi.
There's your mother in a burqa.
Lovely.
What's that one, Jeff?
That's Nana had to put a burqa on to go into this mosque. Can you see it?
What is it?
You in the burqa.
You got to respect. You obviously got to respect their ways.
You have to.
Sorry, Dad. You just appeared as if you interrupted.
It was another one of those pauses. They happen as soon as
Mother,
I speak.
continue.
So Muscat was good. We just went to a few local places, and then we stopped at Abu Dhabi, and we were with another couple, and we did this ourselves. We went to that mosque, and it totally blew our minds.
There was no explosion, though. There was no bombs.
No, just our minds.
So it blew your mind. Okay.
For a start, we had such a good-looking guide. He was gorgeous. He was young, in his white robe. Anyway, we dressed appropriately, but it wasn't good enough. They made us go and put on the black robes.
A full burqa.
The burqa.
Well, you got to respect their ways.
I can't complain. But this
As long as when
mosque,
they go to Israel, they put on a
it's
yarmulke.
the second biggest mosque in the world.
Do you know that 1,000 people nearly died at The Hague the other day?
700 odd
did.
died.
Yeah, 700.
A few of my mates in their white gowns and headgear. Can you see it?
This mosque. What's that one? Is that the mosque?
There was 8 guys sitting around. They had
Oh
their
yeah,
long.
hold on, Jeff. I'm telling you about the mosque.
What story?
Why?
Show them the pictures of the mosque.
That's so funny. Is that in a nightclub?
No, they were just sitting around having coffee in a shopping mall.
Tell me about the
Looks
mosque.
like they're all at a nightclub. That's hilarious.
Tell
Can
me
I
about.
look through them?
Tell me about the mosque, Mother.
If you want to, yeah.
Talk to me.
Go forwards or back.
Dad, stop interrupting.
You said yourself that the mosque
why
was
are
one
you
of the
videoing?
highlights.
Yes, absolutely.
I want to hear the
Mitch,
story.
just listen.
Why are you
I'm
videoing?
listening.
Listen, and
I'm
you
listening.
can make it in without videoing.
Oh, there's no video. Let's go.
The mosque.
Talk about the fucking mosque.
That's very disrespectful.
The mosque.
One of the best buildings we've ever seen in our lives.
Really?
It is the
Unbelievable.
most impressive building I've seen in my life. It's very new. Only was finished in 2007.
The carpets cost $30 million. The carpets.
What?
Would that include the underlay?
They had
That was
15
that's
Iranian
excellent.
women make this carpet.
Amazing.
They've got the one big room, the main room, and then there's 2 smaller prayer rooms each side, and the 2 smaller prayer rooms just take 1,000 each.
Right.
The main one takes 10,000.
10,000 people.
Yes.
In which city? This is in
Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
In
Now,
Oman.
it's interesting the way they did it. See, it's all modern, it's all technical.
You should get this photo printed.
Which
Which
one's that?
one?
I presume I'm in it.
No, actually.
What?
It's just the shadow of. Look at the.
You
photo,
can't
it's
see
really
them
pretty.
inside.
I'm listening, Mother.
Um,
Give it to me.
what was I saying? This the sheikh, built this mosque. That was his project. And how many squillions, I cannot remember, it cost. It's huge. We went there at night to see it lit up, and the next day we went through it.
It's pretty good.
And you know when Muslims pray, they have to be in straight lines.
Yes.
But in this mosque, the straight lines, the carpet is raised just a tiny bit.
So they know where to sit.
The
So
way
they
it's been
know you're
woven.
in a
Right.
straight line.
That's clever.
I thought that was very clever.
And he said that the carpets weighed about 35 tons, and it was $30 million. So I said, oh, that's about $1 million a ton. He said about that.
That's remarkable. Did you calculate that yourself?
Yes, it was just something. Well, I had to use a calculator,
Yes.
of course.
But if we saw nothing else in Abu Dhabi, it
Really?
didn't matter. It was just.
And
worth
how was
it.
the food there?
Well, we ate on the ship.
We were on the ship all the time.
Right. Did you have a backpack with you with snacks?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there
And
was a
then
rule. There was a rule on the ship that you. I don't know whether there's a rule of the country or the ship, but you weren't to take food off the ship to eat outside.
Oh, okay.
I did.
Okay, lovely. It's more of a guideline, is that right?
Yes, a guideline. I think it was left to your discretion. I think that's what they meant. And my discretion told me to take food.
What else, Mum?
Then we went to Dubai.
I saw all the photos of the malls and the indoor skiing.
You can't believe it. You're
You know,
standing.
Dubai's broke. It's funded by Abu Dhabi.
Do you know how
Dubai's
far it
broke?
is? It's an hour
Right,
and
yeah,
a
they
half.
have nothing.
Haven't they got all the oil?
No, that's Abu Dhabi.
It's an hour and a half drive from Abu Dhabi to
Yeah,
Dubai.
it's like,
Yeah.
no,
Geelong.
that's drive. So
Well,
yeah,
I tell
Geelong.
you what, it's the most prosperous looking place I've seen in my life. If you could see the roads
Oh, that-
and the buildings,
But that's in Dubai you're talking.
Dubai, it's unbelievable. They are so far ahead of we are in everything.
I have no doubt.
It's absolutely amazing.
Madison.
But what upset me, what are you doing?
That's going to explode when you take the lid off.
Madison.
Oh, because it's half empty, it won't. Had to been
But
full
you know
of
what
it, wouldn't
upset me? Here is Abu Dhabi and Dubai with more money than they know what to do with.
And there's people starving.
And
Their
their
own people,
brothers
Muslims.
and their brothers in Syria and all these other countries and Iranian, they don't do a thing.
You know
for
what?
them.
I was speaking to a close friend the other day that, you know, Gaza and the West Bank,
Yeah.
when Jordan and Egypt occupied them, they still left them as the Palestinians as refugees. No one wants to know them.
They lived as refugees in Jordan, then they were kicked out by Jordan.
It's not a problem that Israel created. It's a problem. It's being used against Israel. All this money. No one wants the Palestinians.
I know. But this is not what I'm talking about. Is with all this money, why aren't everyone's complaining the West is not doing enough for the migrants?
No one gives two shits about the Syrians.
They
Do you
don't.
know? Listen to this. Do you know Assad has killed just under 300,000 people in 3 years? There hasn't been a single protest in the street.
No.
There's protests at the moment around the world because on the Temple Mount in Israel,
Yes.
they think that Israel's using being very rough-handed with some of the protesters.
Yes.
Obama made a comment, as did Kerry, about they want to see some restraint in Israel on the Temple Mount. Do you know about 600 people got murdered in America last week? Chicago alone, 20 people died. But he's telling Israel you shouldn't be using tear gas to restrain protesters.
Yeah.
But talking about the refugees, when we were
Close friend it was.
when we were in Hungary, you know, have you been? Well, maybe it's not as big news as it was there about the refugees. There's millions of them pouring into Europe.
Yeah,
They're
no,
going
I've heard-
through Hungary to get to Germany.
We saw them at the railway stations.
Germany have opened their
Yes,
doors.
they have.
But we
that-
saw them.
But
Did you?
they're trying to get through Croatia, I think it was, to get to Germany, and Croatia closed off the border. Remember?
And Hungary have put a wall up.
Hungary put a
But,
wall up. They're trying to get to Germany because they've
when
got...
we
And
were-
Israel built a wall around the West Bank, and
We saw all the wall.
I think it looks terrible.
Well, it
We
looks
saw the
terrible,
wall.
but they've got their
But
reasons for it.
what I'm saying is, we were outside in Budapest. We walked past the station where they all are, and there's hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frightening. Thank goodness they've stopped them coming
But it's
here.
interesting, you know, we had an Israeli guide, obviously, in Jerusalem. And she was a typical Israeli, but she sort of rubbished. She showed everybody the map first. We were the only two Jewish people on the bus to Israel.
Yes.
They're all non-Jews. She showed them the map, how they're surrounded by...
By the way, most tourists to Israel aren't Jewish.
No.
Anyway,
Oh,
well,
pretty.
she showed us a map saying, you know, and she was sort of rubbishing them. When we went to Jordan,
Yeah.
and we had a Jordanian tour, he's saying how there's the Negev over there, that's Israel over there, fine.
He wasn't
Things
rubbishing
were
them, was he?
fine. He didn't rubbish them.
But they're individuals. I mean,
Yes, that was their own view.
Yeah.
But